woke police with officer offended. To stay hip, say censorship. Today we are axing offensive costumes for Halloween, Comic-Con, and cosplay anytime and in between. We are canceling the following. Yar, pirates! Wave the black and white flag on the play to stop this offensive cosplay. And ban Disney while you're at it. Pirates of the Caribbean is not caring how you been, man. These offensive characters are based upon real human torture, human trafficking and glory violence, marauders, rapists, thieves, and killers, glorifying drunks and disgusting, degrading dark icons of death. Yar, pirates be patched over both eyes and blinded from our future history. Arr! Devils, perpetuate evil and demonic worship. These devils only further the dark narrative for the axis of evil, and their images propagate more hate, horrors, and terror. The devil. Vikings, gladiators, Sparta, barbarians, brutes of brutality, out for blood and violence. These heinous acts of horrible atrocities must be condemned by today's measures, even in modern warfare. If a drone didn't do it, it's basically too personal. This is not Sparta! So by that standard, we need to end all army characters' costumes are offensive and crude characterizations of war times. And what we like to think of as war heroes are in fact triggering PTSD and glorifying the genocide of other countries. What about the people of Nam, or WW1, or WW2, or the coming WW3? We don't stomach Hitler or Nazi costumes, even in the movies. On sets, costumes are covered in blankets till the camera rolls. These ugly costumes of genocide glorify war for what it's got to go. No more G.I. Joe. No more All-American heroes. So no more Forrest Gump. It's apocalypse now on all your costumes. I love the smell of napalm when it's calm. Also on the chopping block are executioners, terrorists, henchmen, Dr. Evil, and doctors in all for the pain and suffering they cause, especially in Canada with its murder-assisted suicide provided by healthcare professionals. Maid service. And last but not least, both politicians and politically charged costumes and the police, cosplay characters, must all be cancelled, along with the Cosbys, as well as real politicians out there ending the political spectrum. I said spectrum, not your rainbow rectum. So be sure to defund your police, cops, cosplay, and costumes with all political affiliations. No more sexy cop strippers either, as that is only triggering for police brutality, but also triggering for sex addicts, sex workers, and offensive to the community we are so carefully protected by getting the shot. Not the shot by the cops, but the one the cops and politicians demanded we do for something for our community. So get the shot for your immunity. While we're on the subject, cancel all Catholic costumes, or any religious wear whatsoever, as we all know what villains the priests and some nuns have been to indigenous kids. Jesus himself is not only offended, but offensive to the Jews and to the Satanists, demonic devil-worshipping network TV news. Bringing more light to this costume fight and the following costumes. Pimps parading around in the bright, tight, flamboyant flair that dares their women to talk back or they'll smack that bitch up. Known for their sex, drug, and human trafficking trade, pimps got to go. What's a pimp without a hoe? So they too are off the menu. So sorry, Halloween, no more hoes. They got to go. They glorify the sex trade and human trafficking. And by that, assassination and assimilation, we must also cancel the following categories of characters. Bill and Hillary Clinton costumes are hard canceled because they're offensive to sexually used and murdered White House interns, and the children of Epstein Island, and all the people of Syria. Joe Biden, Donald Trump, and Bareback Your Mama, and all the other former presidents of America, costumes are hard canceled, as their hands are not only dirty, they are filthy, as their lying mouths, and the illicit illegal acts they have all been involved in, from Watergate to Hunter Biden's 8-ball laptop to a happy birthday Mr. President presenting a Stormy Daniels porn star to hiding your transgender wife as the first lady-to-be, Abe Lincoln offending the Deep South, and to old George W. Bush and Washington themselves, each guilty of atrocities, lies, war crimes against humanity, and endless sex scandals. Other notable icons that are now deemed offensive: Elvis, Jerry Lee Lewis, Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, and the Beatles, all for their sex with underage people, illicit drug use, and triggering of not only sex and drugs, but guns themselves. Barbie is also an iconic image we can no longer support, as she perpetuates the ideal of what a girl and woman should be, and is fat-shaming in her perfect presentation. Ken, however, is still the perfect man and male icon, as he is the dickless wonder that offends nobody, and does as he is told. The X-Men characters are cancelled as they are offensive to X-Men of failed marriages. Show a sign of solidarity and some sympathy for these divorcees and losers by not wearing your Wolverine claws. Other notable sidekicks kicked to the curb are Robin of the dynamic duo, Batman and Robin, known for being a boy wondering why he's hanging around with an aggressive, delusional, older man wearing underpants on the outside of his clothes. Also, we need to not cover it again, but for those asleep the past news weeks, any culture costumes are canceled because it's called cancel culture. So end all indigenous headdress, be it appropriately approved or of the village people. It's offensive and wrong. Along with our home and native land, cowboys got to go home on the range as deranged and estranged. Following suit would be spacemen, for the flat earthers know how offensive and ridiculous this is. And we got a hammer time on those construction workers for the unemployment, because those high-vis vests scream I'm an overpaid city worker and you're a broke jobless ash can suck my Starbucks. And finally, last for today, but not least, on the list, as this cancel culture can go on all day, every day, in every way, as we allow 1984 to not become just a work of fiction, but a reality, we must end the offensive stormtroopers. Sorry, Star Wars fans, but these are offensive, as they are, first off, white. Second, they're very Nazi-ish, which is offensive not only to all people, but the Nazis themselves. Furthermore, the original stormtroopers were Canadians in the Battle of 1917 at Vimy Ridge. The Canadian troops were such badass killers, they were known as stormtroopers, as they would help reshape the fate and destiny and overthrow the evil German Nazi regime. It's offensive, this term to be used to now arm and deploy the enemy of evil and dark forces depicted in Star Wars. Sorry guys, also canceled is Jar Jar Binks because he's just hated for being created. Join us next week when we dig deeper into the costume culture of clowns and how it's no laughing matter to run away and join the circus, paraded around the countryside as a bearded woman, like an endangered servant. Elephants, forced labor, FEMA camps, endless kids-sold cavities, and let's not forget the ringmaster lion shamers and tightrope walkers walking a fine line between life and death. Also offensive. Stay on the defensive, as this thoughtful officer is woken and spoken. I'm Officer Offended, reminding you to stay hip. Say censorship.